All right, fam, so today's training or tutorial is all about how to lift weights so that you'll have a better understanding of how to do your workouts on the app. So a lot of you have experience already of lifting weights, and so some of this information is going to seem really super basic and simple, and you probably don't need it. But I'd rather you have the information and understand how I like to train, like my methods and techniques, so that we're both on the same page. And that way, when you go through the workouts on the app, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's talk basic terminology first of all. Each exercise movement is a combination of two processes, basically a squeezing motion and a relaxing motion. And that whole combination is known as a repetition, or we call it reps for short. We can use a simple bicep curl as an example. So as you lift the weight, squeeze, and then put it back down, that's one repetition. So generally for each exercise, you're doing several reps. So several squeezing, relax, squeezing, relax. So in your workout, what you'll be doing is a group of repetitions known as a set. So that means you'll have a certain number of reps. We'll say anywhere from 5 to 20 reps. You'll do those back to back to back, and then you'll stop at the end and rest. That whole group of repetitions is known as a set. Most of your workouts and in any traditional weightlifting program, you'll be doing several sets, which are those groups of reps per exercise within a given workout. For example, you'll do 3 sets of 15 reps of your bicep curls. So you'll do one set of 15 and then you'll rest. Then you'll do a second set of 15 and then you'll rest. And then you'll do a third set of 15 and then you rest before moving on to the next exercise. Now that we got those basics out of the way about sets and reps, there's a couple techniques that I like to use quite often. Most of my workouts have these in them in some sort of way, and that is circuit training and supersets. Circuits or circuit training I use a lot in your warm-ups and mobility work, and also for cardio days. Circuits are a group of different exercises that you do back to back to back without resting in between until you get the entire group of exercises done, and then there will be a rest period. And depending on the workout, you'll be doing each of those exercises either for a set number of reps, which we talked about before, or for an interval of time, like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, something like that. So you'll just continuously do that exercise for that length of time before the timer ends, and then you'll move on to the next exercise, no rest in between. And as far as circuits go, usually we don't call them sets, we call it a round. So you'll do anywhere from 1 to 3 rounds usually of that group of exercises with the rest in between. Another technique I like to use in weight training is called supersets. So supersets are doing just 2 exercises back to back for a certain number of reps with each one, and then resting after you complete both of those. Now I want to go over how to choose how heavy of a weight or weights you need to choose for your exercises. On your workouts, as you look at each exercise, you'll see in the instructions a description of choosing a certain effort level for your weights. This is going to be a little bit of a learning curve for you to learn, because you're going to have to pick up a bunch of different weights to see what your possible max weight you could lift looks like. But this following chart is something you can refer to, and I broke down what that effort and those percentages look like in real time. So looking here 100% effort is the weight is so heavy you can only do the set number of reps. If you're at 85 to 90%, it's super hard, but if you pushed yourself, you could do one more. If you're 75 to 85%, really shaky and difficult, but you could do 2 more reps at the end of the set if you really needed to, and so on and so forth. So you have to play around with this to see what your rep range and effort would be. So on the app, as you're doing your workouts, before you actually push the start button to start your workout, take a few minutes, consider it like a warm-up set, and go to the dumbbell rack or wherever you're working out on, whatever machine you're working out on, and do a couple practice reps. Go heavy, see how it feels, see how many reps you think you could do at that weight, and then compare it to what the exercise is asking you to do. And then use that warm-up set to really determine, okay, I think that if I do 50 pounds, I could probably get 5 to 7 reps, and that will be your guide for knowing how heavy you need to go on the official exercise when you hit that start button. Now, I'm not there with you working out live and in person, and as your trainer, if I was there, I would definitely be pushing you, because the fact is most people do not lift heavy enough. They don't push themselves, they don't think they're that strong, and pretty much 100% of the time people are way stronger and can lift way heavier than what they think they can. So imagine that I'm there with you and I'm pushing you and motivating you to go a little bit heavier, and just see how it feels. You should feel a little nervous. You should feel a little like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. That's the resistance. That is part of your program, facing into that resistance and overcoming the fear and making yourself doing something that's a little uncomfortable. Now, as you're doing your exercise or your lift, there's a rhythm or a tempo that works best to get you the most muscle fiber recruitment out of your exercises. In general, as you're squeezing the weight or contracting the muscle, you take about 1 second to do that. Pause at the top, really squeeze that muscle, and then lower it back down to the starting position for 2 full seconds. So it's double the length of time to lower it rather than the squeeze. And don't forget to breathe while you're doing your reps. And it's the opposite of what you think you should be doing as far as breathing goes. But if this gets too complicated and messes you up and you can't keep track of your repetitions, then I don't care. You don't have to do it this way as long as you're breathing. Continue to breathe. Do not hold your breath. So in general, the best way to breathe when you're doing your lift is to actually breathe out as you're squeezing the weight, and then breathe in as you're lowering back down. Now moving forward with some more technique stuff and body positioning. These are some pro tips from yours truly that will actually give you even more benefit out of the exercises that you're doing. So have you seen these people, as guys and girls? I see them at the gym all the time, and they're wearing these not the weightlifting belts, but these corset belts, the like tummy tamer or waist wrap. Like they're trying to like squeeze their midsection to create that nice like S curve or the V taper from their lats. Well, don't do this. Do not wear one of those. You are actually turning off all your core muscles by wearing those things. Instead, I want you to activate your core muscles with every exercise you do. And the way you do this, it's 2 movements. It's a learning curve as well, so don't stress out too much about it. The more you do it, the more often you do it, the easier and easier it becomes, and it actually becomes almost like a reflex. Every time you go to do an exercise, you just automatically do it. So the way you're going to activate your own core muscles is you're going to pull your belly button in, like you're sucking in, but it's not lungs, it's belly. So think belly button, pull it in towards your spine. And then after that, you're going to do a Kegel exercise. So a lot of us ladies, we know what Kegels are. Men can do them too. It's pelvic floor muscles. So think of the muscles you contract or pull up on when you have to pee really bad. That's a Kegel. So after you pull your belly button in, do a Kegel, pull that pelvic floor musculature up and keep all that nice and tight. You're activating your entire core by doing this. And then even though you've tensed up, you've pulled in, you've sucked up, you still need to keep breathing. So once again, learning curve, you're training your body. It's another like lifting or weightlifting exercise you're doing here, pulling that core in tight and lifting up that pelvic floor, and then learning how to breathe while you're activating the other muscles that you're actually working on with that exercise. And the next tip is I want you to imagine contracting your entire body for whatever exercise you're doing, instead of just focusing on that individual muscle or body part that you're working on. Think of your entire body as doing the exercise rather than just that single muscle like I talked about a second ago. You want to create a solid, strong, tight lever out of your entire body rather than just like this loosey-goosey noodle with the one area doing all the work. So this means you're creating like a mind-body connection to your entire body. Everything's tight, contracted, core's activated, and then you go to do your lift. This includes dropping your shoulders a little bit, because a lot of us, we get really tense when we go to lift. We're like nervous, we're doing it wrong. Just drop your shoulders, good posture, shoulders back, core pulled in, and then also keep your head and neck in a neutral position. A lot of us, we're looking down all the time and we're slouched forward our desk or computer all day or cleaning teeth. And so you need to pull things out, good posture, head, chin, neutral, and maintain that while you're doing your lift. So there's a lot that goes into that initial position of your body before you actually lift up the weights. But doing all these things is going to create a whole lot more strength and energy towards the movement that you're doing, and you're going to recruit so many more muscle fibers. You're going to get such better results. You're literally sculpting your body by doing all this, and it's just all coordinated in this mind-body connection. The last thing I want to go over is the rest periods in between sets. This is super important. The resting of the rest periods in between your sets is not just to hang out and rest. There's actual biological processes going on that need to happen within that set period of time that's written on your workouts. So if it says rest for 30 seconds, you rest for 30 seconds. You watch a timer on the app, or you time it yourself with a timer on your clock on your phone. But that rest period needs to be as important as the actual exercises that you're doing in between. These rest periods are very intentional, and they coordinate with whatever goal we're working towards in your body transformation program. Okay, that's it. I know that was a lot. It's a lot of information. So watch this as many times as you need to. I'll have it posted in the Facebook group, as well as posting that graph that goes over the rate of perceived effort, or the percentages of your effort when you're choosing your weights. I'll have that posted in the group as well. And you can refer to those. You can refer to the video and that chart as often as you need to. And you can also communicate with your trainer and ask me any questions about any of the lifting techniques that you need. Something that's been fun that I've done with a few clients who are really excited and love to lift is they will actually film little videos, or they'll have someone at the gym, maybe they have a training buddy that comes with them, and they'll film a little video of them doing the exercise, especially one that they're a little unsure of or a little shaky with, and they'll send me that video and I can critique your form. This is super fun for me and for you, so if you want any extra pointers or tips, or have me evaluate your technique, if you're feeling like back pain or joint pain or something's off, film a little video of you doing the exercise and send it to me in the Messenger app, on the Messenger part of the app, and I will critique it for you and get you feedback within 24 hours. And that's it. That's all. So much information. Please send me a flex arm emoji in the Messenger so I know you watched this video, and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. And if you'd like to see any other techniques or ask me any questions, shoot me a DM and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And then stay tuned for the next tutorial video.